Hello everyone, this is David, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review of the brand new F-100 Super Saber by Milviz. This airplane just released last week, and I've been flying it for almost a week now, getting used to it so I can bring you guys a good review. I'd like to start off by saying that this is one of the most well put together packages that I've seen in my nearly 20 years involved in the flight simulation hobby. The 3D modeling, texture work, VC, performance, documentation, and flight model are superb with this aircraft, and I dare to say groundbreaking for this hobby. With that said, let's go ahead and get started. From the exterior here, you can see just how beautiful the 3D modeling of this aircraft is. Everything is modeled as it should be. You have beautiful texture work. I'm using the polished metal aircraft, but it also does come with the matte camo textures as well. Up here on the nose and all over the aircraft, you can see slight scratches in the polished metal. Different color variations for each panel. You know, dirt around the rivets, smudges, handprints, all of that's done in texture work. And back here toward the engine, where everything is warmer, the metal is discolored. And each one of these is just slightly different in tone, and looks really nice and really believable. The bump mapping looks absolutely spectacular. The rivets look real. I mean, honestly, when I'm looking at this in avatar mode, like right now at a Payware airport, I feel like I'm standing next to a real F-100. It's just that good. The external model comes with a huge number of options loadout wise, everything from bombs, rockets, missiles, drop tanks, all of which affect flight dynamics and performance of the aircraft, and just looks super nice. And the aircraft is fully Trap Pack compatible. Not too familiar with Trap Pack, but I guess it allows the weapons to damage AI aircraft, and buildings, all that sort of stuff. This is pretty cool. But you can also, even without Trap Pack, fire the guns, fire missiles, drop bombs, use the drop tanks and stuff with this aircraft. With Trap Pack, I guess air refueling works. I haven't tried that. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with that software. But after reading about it, it does look like something I'm going to look into trying. Let me just give y'all a close-up look at the textures on this airplane. Like I said, the bump mapping, the texture work, the handprints and smudges, it just looks absolutely wonderful. Let's go ahead and go into the VC, but first let's go ahead and remove that. Go ahead and pop into the VC. And in here, it's the same story, beautiful texture work and beautiful 3D modeling. All the gauges are done in 3D and are super smooth and react really quickly, and how they should for the airplane. It's really well done. The VC is probably one of the best looking VCs I've seen in flight sim. And it has, a fair bit of wear to where it looks like it's used, but not to the point where it looks abused, and I like that. That they've went into the detail to make the airplane look so nice and believable. Alright, let's go ahead and crank up here. We'll put our pilot back in the airplane and remove the ladder. Alright, to start the airplane, you'll bring your battery switches on. You'll turn your engine master switch to on, and you'll hit the ignition switch here. When you reach 12% on the RPM gauge, you'll introduce fuel by left clicking on the throttle here, and that will complete the engine start sequence. Okay, so go ahead and light it up. All of this sort of stuff is covered in the quick user's guide. but they do cover everything in the flight manual for the aircraft. It's actually the flight manual from the F-100. So super accurate, great documentation with this airplane. So if you want to use it as a study level sim, it's more than capable of doing that. Or if you just want to kind of, fly around and have a good time, it's very capable of that as well. Alright, so you'll turn those two switches to the on position. Go ahead and close that. Lift this up, turn on the anti-skid. We're ready to taxi, and shut the canopy. The sound package on this airplane is really, really nice. And I'm just going to shut up and let y'all hear that. Like I said, there's that beautiful texture work on this airplane. The aircraft on the ground is a little bit of a bear to handle. It definitely requires constant attention on takeoff. And the F-100, it was known for its adverse yaw at low air speeds in the real world, and that has been modeled in this aircraft as well. So that's definitely something to watch out for at low air speeds. For those pilots who don't want to deal with that or having a hard time flying the aircraft, Milviz has included a flight model where that is removed, and basically some of the bad tendencies of the airplane are removed. But for those of us who want the most real simulation of the F-100, the regular flight dynamics are great. One thing I do like that they've added is the flyby camera here in free mode, and the smoke effect on this airplane looks really nice and really believable. Just listen to the sounds there. It sounds like the real thing going over. Performance-wise, the airplane handles like a first-generation jet fighter, so you're not going to be seeing, huge climb rates like you would in the Phantom or F-22 or whatever. This kind of bridges the gap between a propeller aircraft and a modern jet fighter, so keep that in mind when you're flying the airplane. But there's plenty of get up and go, especially once you plug the burners. It's a great airplane to fly, really, really fun to fly, very responsive. Yeah, plug the burners and get up over the hill here. The flight dynamics in this airplane, they've really done a nice job, and they've implemented kind of a camera shake or something with the stall buffet and really nice stall buffet sounds. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate those now. you listen closely, you can just hear the stall buffet starting to come in now. Now you can see it. You can try to recover by plugging the burners. The burners won't light, so you're going to have to drop your nose, get that angle of attack down, and then the burners will light. Otherwise, I guess the engine's not getting enough air, so they won't light. So they really went to a nice level to get this airplane to fly like the real thing and handle like a real jet fighter on this era. This airplane is definitely fun for canyon runs, and just a joy to fly. It really is one of the best flying airplanes I've flown in Flight Simulator in a long time. Alright, I guess I will go ahead and show you all the night lighting now, which is very, very nice as well. Nope, wrong thing. There we go. One thing people like myself who use the Estonian migration tool might want to know is that the night lighting in this aircraft is not compatible with the EMT's DLL. But in the quick start guide for this aircraft, there is a guide on how to set the Estonian migration tool to a prompted load, I guess would be the best way to say it, to where it prompts you want to load this DLL. And you want to click no on that because otherwise the cockpit lights will not function. It's not Milviz's fault, it's just somehow the DLLs for the lighting in this don't get along. So, but that is covered in the guide as well. One thing I will say is the lighting does look nice even with HDR enabled, but in Prepare 3D at night I prefer to fly with the HDR off, kind of gives a more subtle glow to the lighting, and I do prefer that. The aircraft comes with a configuration tool which allows you to select all the loadouts that I was talking about earlier, set up the cold and dark, even pre-program your comm frequencies, say what you want on the exterior model when it's cold and dark, like the chalks, hide the pilot, just a whole bunch of features that they've really thought out and really make this a superb aircraft. And like I was saying earlier, that it really is one of the best put together packages I've flown in all of my time flying Flight Sim, because they've thought of everything that a user might want. And I know some people will say, well, $50 is a lot of money for an add-on. You know, I agree with you. But what you're looking at, what you're getting here is a pretty much true-to-life simulation of the F-100 Super Saber, done in exquisite detail. I'm getting an install buffet there, so I'm going to have to give it a little more power. There it goes. I'm trying to engage the burners, but they didn't want to engage because of that stall and angle of attack. So this airplane is a handful to fly, it really is. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, it really is worth the money. The quality of the 3D modeling, the quality of the texture work, the systems, the flight dynamics, make this airplane really, really worth the money, more so than, you know, a lot of other add-ons in the market. I can definitely say that I recommend this aircraft. wholeheartedly. It's fun to fly. If you want to just get up and have a fun airplane to fly, you can do it with this airplane. If you want an aircraft that is study level, you can do that in this aircraft as well. You know, so that's the fun part of it, is that you have a lot of versatility. See, right there is an example of that adverse yaw coming in. And I am real heavy on fuel, which is why I'm having to have such a high landing speed. And also I'm at a high elevation as well. And deploy the drag chute. And that is modeled as well. Alright folks, well that about sums it up. Hope everybody has a good one.